African leaders have called for the revival of Lake Chad, which has been shrinking due to climate change, destroying the livelihoods of thousands who live in the region, who are already suffering from droughts and high level of malnutrition. Speaking at the United Nations Conference on Climate Change, currently underway in Paris, France, the leaders said the effects of the shrinking lake have also led to increased social conflicts, high rates of migration, and cross-border movements.
Lake Chad, one of Africa's largest water body, is now a patchwork of reeds, ponds and islands. Images from space show how a huge body of water 50 years ago is now just a 20th of that size. As the waters have receded, land that was once fertile has turned dusty and barren.
Unfortunately, we don't talk about it. We only talk about migration linked to the wars in Syria and Iraq. We talk about migration by sea, immigration through the Sahel. But the fact remains that there is climate change, which has made life impossible for those living in those areas where agriculture and pastoral productions have declined massively. It's hard for people to make a living, and people are forced to travel far and risk their lives to make a living.
The swampy maze of islands in the border areas between Chad, Niger, Cameroon and Nigeria have now also become a main target for the militant group Boko Haram, which has displaced thousands of people living in fear of further violence.
Innocent citizens are being kidnapped, tortured and slaughtered. Their houses are burned and their possessions are stolen by lawless terrorists. There is a tight link between Lake Chad shrinking and the territory that Boko Haram occupies in the region. Along with permanent insecurity, there is also a disastrous economic situation that is characterized by fragile environment on which there are thousands of refugees and displaced people, as well as famine and other diseases. We need to act and act now before it's too late.
One plan of action discussed at the meeting requires around $40 billion over a period of 10 years. The project would mainly be financed by donors with 90%, and the remaining 10% by member states of the Lake Chad Basin, as well as the African Development Bank.
Your Excellencies, we must now act decisively on 5 areas. First, we must revive the Lake Chad Basin. Doing so will boost rural economic activity and build economic resilience across Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. It will arrest the dangerous influx of terrorists who take advantage of the shrinking of Lake Chad to destabilize the region.
Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon have joined forces in the past 4 months to recapture some territories from the radical Islamic Boko Haram.
And on that note, we end today's edition of Business Incorporated. I am Basin. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.